item I wanted to share is I was asked to look at the procurement policy and the standards. I found a couple of things. First, there are recommendations from the Auditor of State. Their office, they have a sample procurement policy. That threshold that we talked about in the 2,500, requiring 3 quotes within that suggestion. I don't see any Ohio law that requires it, but here's what you're going to see with the policies across the state is that it's really common to combine the county, state, and federal standards together because it's not uncommon that you're going to be expending federal funds that come through. So the policy is generated so that you're in compliance with all of the levels of government. And those thresholds do vary, but that 2,500 that's the standard for the state of Ohio. It's not the standard for a county or even the feds. You would be able to raise that level up to 10,000 and still be in compliance with federal law. And I believe that's going to change at some point in 2025. I think that's raising to 15,000. But essentially the way federal law is written is that under 10,000 requires essentially a purchase order, just like we would for the county. Between 10,000 and then the competitive bidding threshold would require the quotes. And then once you get our competitive bidding threshold, it's lower for the county than it is for the Fed. So we'd have to stay with that 75,000 plus the percentage of increase every year. But that could be adjusted if you wanted to look at that. The other item I wanted to bring up, and this is just a word of caution because I was on a few emails recently. I've had a lot of discussion with building and planning. Dennis and I have worked through a couple of cases recently that have been difficult, a lot of public interest. One of the things I wanted to remind your board of is that when there is an application for rezoning, that goes to the Board of Commissioners. So, that will obviously start with zoning commission and then regional planning commission, and you could say whether you affirm the prior decisions or overturn them. What I wanted to remind you of, though, is it's really common that we'll see an application for a CU or a variance that would normally go to BZA, but it's denied. And so the alternate route is to go through rezoning, which ultimately comes to your board. And so it's important that you're not involved in the early process because neutrality at that stage is key. So you just got to be careful about weighing in on those early applications.
So basically, if you receive notification in the mail as a property owner of a case, you will want to.
Yeah, I mean, that's one scenario. I mean, there's so many different ways that you could be wrapped in, especially with social media and emails, and it's so easy to reach out and say, hey, can you help me out here? Yeah, you're right though. I mean, being a property owner, you get notification, hey, you own property here. My recommendation, just refer that notice to building and planning and tell them that whoever's contacting you that you can't weigh in because you have to remain neutral.
So just to clarify, Nick, so this goes to any case before any board, it could ultimately come to us if it's a rezoning.
I would be very careful about weighing in. I mean, it's one thing to talk to a property owner and just, say, I understand your concerns. I'll make sure that those are passed on to building and zoning, but I wouldn't go further than that. Yeah, it's just it would be a basis to challenge a decision of the board in common pleas court, or that the board itself wasn't neutral. Correct. That's all I had.
So I just want to add to the discussion on the procurement policy. I dug into it as well and reached out to the county administrators group to get copies of other counties' procurement policies. And what I'm seeing so far is they typically mirror
they're following the state. So it's very standard. And that protects you from just inappropriate expenditures that would result in a finding for recovery. Because not every department is going to review the purchase decision the same way others would or you would.
And the argument from certain elected officials and departments, basically, hey, I can't do anything for less than $2,500. So anything over 2,500, I have to have a contract, I have to do this, I have to do that. So, you know, you either raise that number or you say, this is the policy, you need to follow the policy. So I reached out to Jeff Stankunas, because I couldn't find an answer, whether or not it is for all departments inside and outside general fund or just inside general fund. So that was.
That's good. Good
There's
question.
one question that I couldn't find an answer to, so I reached out to him. Just for everyone's information, Jeff Stankunas, attorney that we hired to basically write the procurement policy for us.
What I would add there though is regardless of what his answer is, whether it applies to outside or not, all governmental entities are required to have a procurement policy. So if it doesn't apply to those outside, they need to adopt their own.
Right. More info to come.
Very good.
Mr. Slade?
Okay.
You do one of them.
Here. Move forward.
Yes.
Oh, well, couple things real quick that I didn't have on my agenda. Ice Miller, gave me a call. That's our fiber consultant. Again, to emphasize moving forward as quickly as possible. They said that they have about 3 companies, interested in purchasing or leasing fiber, which would be great, especially if we can, pay for it before the project even begins. So, again, emphasizing moving forward with that agreement on liability, on plowing versus boring, sort of thing. Just FYI there. Also, you guys probably received this as well, 911 legislation, increasing the state user fee from 25 cents to 40 cents. That'll be a well received and needed injection as to the 911 account for at least Madison County. And I would say for all counties in the state of Ohio. So considering how much it costs to operate and maintain 911 services in the county, I think that is something that's definitely needed. Moving into my agenda items. Actually, I've got one more item. Reggie Wheeler from DRC finally got back to me. He basically said that he's forwarded the survey and the third-party appraisal to DAS Real Estate for review and approval. While that is being reviewed, DAS will start working towards a purchase agreement. I will keep you posted as I receive additional information from DAS Real Estate. I interpret that in a couple different ways. Maybe this is, hey, we're gonna sell it to you at 10,000 an acre at $100,000 to go through the controlling board versus legislation. If not, I don't know why they would start to write up a purchase agreement and go through these steps.
Yeah, I mean, once again, we reached out to Stewart's office, had to continue to lean heavily on them and almost have their office try to quarterback this with DAS and DRC. Just to make sure everybody's on the same page, because then when I talked to Brian about getting it for a certain price per se, and we'd like to keep it at that price if possible. But I think Brian will probably be more willing to work with us on the price and going through legislation than having just DAS draw off the contract.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with Tim Bigham from Montrose Group, so they're gonna reach out as well to assist where they can. So that's progress. You know, the way I'm reading this, and I could be totally wrong, is that they can probably sell it for less than the appraised value. And that's what I'm hoping for. Last thing that I have, and this is an agenda item, no action needed. Just wanted to bring you up to speed on the Corso Loss Control Incentive and Loss Control Bonus Program. This is a program that I implemented when I first became county administrator, one that we have successfully achieved since then. Since Brendan was is new. I just wanted to give a little history and a little background and what that all means. So I am your appointed loss control officer for the county. That check marks one of the boxes. It is basically a credit based on the successful implementation of this program. It equates to about $15,000 a year, give or take, that we receive in credits. One of the check marks, one of the boxes is mandatory training for all elected officials and department heads. This is a predetermined HR training provided by Corsa that is in typically around the spring. So that'll be mandatory for everybody to attend. We've been successful with that so far. If the elected official can attend, a representative can be present on their part. Next thing is attendance by the sheriff and command staff members, and to participate in a law enforcement regional seminar during the calendar year of 2025, or attendance at training at a BSSA annual conference, which is typically both those are completed on the regular outside of this program. Also the adoption, this is, I think, new adoption of the Ohio Auditor State Payment Checklist and training. And of course, the appointment of the loss control coordinator, who is the primary contact person for all county liability claims and incidents. So we've slowly reminded all the elected officials and department heads that whenever there is an incident, be it a vehicle accident, disciplinary action that could evolve into some form of litigation, an accident at work, that sort of thing, that I'm in the primary contact and the first person that you call. So sometimes people forget about that, but we've been reminding them on the regular to do that. Also on my list is the review of all the county buildings and all the inspections. So that is scheduled to happen with Corsa. We need to have a member on the Ohio County Loss Control Coordinators Association, which that is me, and I'm the president of that. And then implementation of the Fleet Loss Control Management Program. So you probably received an email yesterday with the driver's policy, as well as a link for all drivers within the county to take a defensive driving course through Corsa University, which is an hour-long online program. So I need to, for anybody and everybody that drives a vehicle, be it a county-owned vehicle or the private vehicle, and an official authority to take that training. Another incentive that we'll receive that's not necessarily a monetary benefit is we receive a free cyber threat assessment program that is administered and directly billed to Corsa by HG Consulting, and this is a program that we do every year as well. So that is basically, this company is going to try to break into our network and obtain information, that sort of thing. We also receive a $5,000 grant, which we spend on the training. So you'll be receiving emails that say, hey, you haven't completed your training. So we implore that all employees complete that training, as well as our phishing software. So we send out phishing. It looks like it's from somebody else, but it's actually from us. And we try to get the employees to click on things and provide information. And then that gives us the information on where our vulnerabilities are at, or we can talk to the employee and say, hey, just FYI, you fell for this, not a problem, but take this training, this should, help you out in the long run. And when we first implemented the program, it was shocking how many people fell for it. That is now down to single digit percentage. We've come, so cybersecurity, is a concern. It is extremely expensive liability if it happens. So we're taking all advantages, all the opportunities presented by Corso that is to implement that program. So that is the loss control incentive program for 2025. If you have any questions, feel free to
I've
ask.
got one, Rob. The issue we've been talking about, you mentioned that the property or building assessment is happening soon. It happens every 3 years. Is there a way to notify the departments regarding upgrades to property or building within that 3-year period to ensure there's coverage for those upgrades? We've had that issue here
Yes.
recently, so
Yes.
is there like a form or something that they would submit to
You
you?
know, I've been thinking about this and, you know, reminder emails periodically, you know, articulating that is basically what I've come up with. I did notify Corsa, and our representative on a few different items, like let's
Right.
make sure that as we're doing these inspections,
Mhm.
that is a question that's asked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully they follow through with that. But yeah, I think a periodic email out to, hey, if you replace this or you do that, we need to know to notify Corsa.
Is that sufficient enough, though, just an email to notify Corsa?
Hey, the question is on their table.
Thank you.
Yeah. So waiting for their response on it. Katie Little or Liddell, I think is, the person at Corsa that I'm working with. So. But that is, what the airport is still an ongoing discussion.
Example.
Yeah, and or you can argue in a few different ways for and against it, so. That's all I have for you gentlemen today. If there's anything else.
I don't believe so.
Any questions, questions?
I don't believe so. Engineer, did you have any business before your 9:30? Sir?
Good morning. If you have time, I just wanted to discuss the bids your board received last Tuesday. You should have recommendations in hand for all of them, although I know the bridge recommendations came in after 3 o'clock on Friday, so if you can't take action on those, that's okay. So you received bids for both hot mix asphalt, hot mix, cold mix asphalt, and liquid asphalt emulsions. We saw pretty significant increase in hot mix picked up at the plant. We're around $90 a ton now. Liquid asphalt emulsions, I was pleasantly surprised at where those came in, which, as you know, that's primary material for our chip seal operation. So we'll purchase anywhere from 250,000 to 400,000 gallons of liquid emulsion for annual chip seal program. So they were at 236.9 per gallon. Just want to note on that recommendation. We recommend that the chip seal emulsions be awarded to a specific vendor, and that's due to the quantity that we are asking them to allocate for us. So like our HFRS 2P, our fog seal emulsion, and our scrub seal emulsion, we are recommending that be awarded of asphalt materials. However, all the other materials are smaller quantity materials. They have plants in different locations. A lot of times the plant might be down, or it might be more convenient to purchase it from a different one. So we do recommend that you award the bid to all the bidders in those cases. That gives us flexibility to purchase where it's convenient, where it makes the most sense economically and to support our operation. similar to what we've done in the past. Mostly, I wanted to address this for reference. Then you received two bids as well for bridges on Big Plain Circleville Road. The one over, number one, we were disappointed in the pricing we received on those. The bridge over Oak Run was 16% over the estimate. Fortunately, the law does allow your board to award up to 20% over the estimate. Of course, we need to get money to cover that cost, right? And it does look like we will be able to receive those additional funds in federal aid to cover that. So we did recommend we award that bid to R.P. Juergens. The smaller bridge over a Possum Run, that came in close to double over the estimate. We were very surprised with that. That's a bridge, if we were to build with our own forces, we could easily do it for 2.25. So we're not exactly sure why that particular bridge was so expensive. But due to the number that came in, we did recommend you reject that bid and want to go back. See if there's some things we can do to reduce the cost, and then also our discussions with Portland about the possibility of getting additional funding to cover those extra costs.
Was there a reason on that Possum Run Bridge that you could do it physically, right? Was there a reason why you wouldn't take that upon you to do it?
It was just, that would be money we could spend on another bridge. It was something that we were able to get funded with federal aid. Our thought was that it was a simplistic enough structure that the cost wouldn't, always more money to do with federal.
So if you do it yourself, you won't get the funding? Is that what you're
Correct.
saying? No,
It's
that's
not
great.
an option for us to use federal aid dollars for forcing us. So that's just the nature of the rules.
Yeah.
Trust me, we asked that question.
Well, yeah, but
We have about 100 beams, and then we could build the abutments, the piling, guardrail for, 120.
you're gonna rebid it then? Or?
Yeah, we will rebid that project.
And then the other question I had, so, that, Big Plain Circleville Road needs repair. I mean, we all agree that that's, one of the top things that we need to do. If you get the bridge done over, Deer Creek, you proceed with half the paving until the other bridge is done?
That's been something we've been talking about. Ideally,
I know.
you get your structures done, and then all your pavement is nice and continuous, so there's no cuts and.
But wouldn't it be like where the bridge stops anyway? Couldn't you go from,
We could potentially do a partial project. I would hate to complete the paving and then go back and cut it open to replace the
Oh, yeah.
bridge.
yeah, I agree.
So the way we've left it is we need to nail down where we stand with these bridge schedules, and then we can nail down what our approach is going to be to the paving work. I agree with you 1,000%. That's our problem road right now. And we've been working for years to get a solution, to get funding in place to do that project.
Wait some more.
Then the last thing I wanted to address, we have gotten comments back to Ohio Gig on the extended liability agreement that we've been working through. The last meeting we had with them over a month ago, I thought we were on the same page as far as plans and ability to plow. I thought that was pretty clear. The way we left it was, they had some sample plans in hand on what we would accept, and then we were just down to working through details of the extended liability. So. But we do have movement there, and our comments were pretty minor. We're really just working through specifics of bond amounts and that's all.
They said that they have a project under construction, that if you wanted to come up and take a look at the operations and the equipment and all that, that you're more than welcome to. Yeah,
Yeah, we discussed it.
that I just talked to them.
Okay,
Yesterday, Friday.
great. So
They're anxious.
I hear you. I hear you. And again, I think our comments were minor, so I don't foresee this taking much longer to get clarity on the program. So.
Sounds good.
Sometimes you walk away from these meetings and you think, everything was laid out and clearly communicated, and sometimes I find that it may not have been, so. You know, as far as the plans go, we're looking for, good dimensional information on road right of way and other obstructions in the right of way. Asking for good dimensions on the horizontal location of their lines. We're not asking for vertical profiles. And then as far as a PE or DS stamp, we're just asking them to certify plus or minus 2 feet on their location of the line, which is within, what the Highway Utility Protection Service, can mark. So, you know, once I've laid out, that's all we're really looking for on the PEPS stamp. That seems like a very manageable bar, for these guys, but we're not asking for a certification on their design. I'm just looking for certification on, horizontal location on accuracy. So that we don't get in a situation where they're working outside the right of way, or they don't foresee a particular obstruction that should have been caught in their pre-planning stage.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Mr. Cowan?
One item for public discussion, in front of you is, or would, I think last week was distributed a pilot agreement with Jefferson Township. I think it's been in front of you guys for a few weeks now. No changes have been made or requested. It's been approved on the end of the township, Jefferson Township. And I think we again discussed plenty last week. It has to do with, any abatement over the threshold of either 60% or 10 years would require a pilot payment to the township and fire department at 7 cents a square foot to determine the abatement. So, the request would be, and I was meeting with Brian yesterday on the way out, I talked to John Ford. He's very appreciative that the county's considering this and that goes forward to the partnership with the county on this. So, the request would be today, since the request was not made last week, so you guys can take 1 week to look at it if you need it. The request today is to, consider approving the pilot agreement with Jefferson Township.
Very good.
And Amy has the agreement for signing and a resolution to it, I think, so. Yeah, that'll be considered, I think, a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll wait for your business. Grab a coffee real quick. Thank you, Mr. Kim.
No problem. I know.
Yeah, it does say that you started reporting.
It does, that I didn't catch that. So it has. So it says it's like 30 minutes into it, and it was taken down, and I didn't find it. It seemed like it was recorded. I didn't look at the stuff, so I did miss the intro and the beginning. Yes.
Maybe you can glue my crown back on for me.
Okay. Item 4.
I've done it.
Might be super glue in the closet on.
Thursdays as soon as they can get me in.
You're not going today?
What time? Luckily, it's root canal, so it doesn't hurt. It's just a whole package.
Have to, put that mold in your mouth, that pink stuff. Tell me again.
Well, she made it sound like they may be able to use the old one thing with. So that would be ideal. Maybe I should eat soft food until
Soup.
this.
Pocket food.
Yeah, for some reason, when I click on the meeting in my calendar, it says waiting for others to join. But when you gave me the link though, it,
You
Pretty much just
were
fine.
meeting yesterday.
well, because I had 3 in my calendar.
That's true, because when I,
So if you just maybe send a new one. Or if you still have those in your calendar, if you delete those, then everybody.
I don't, it's emails, I don't know, I didn't. I only show one, but it's like, I was trying to get the commissioners to join and.
Yeah.
I don't wanna send another one out, but I still don't think when I finally did the final one I thought was right, wasn't in the recording folder.
Yeah,
Teams.
yeah. Yeah, I'll delete it from my calendar, and if you just next Tuesday, make sure I'm in the invite list, I should get a new invite. Is that Jack Daniels?
This webpage.
It was sticky note, right?
Thinking about it. Myron, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well.
Cool.
How about you?
I'm doing okay.
Better than I deserve.
There you go. Amy, would you like to do some business, please?
The first thing you have the cash balance, report there in front of you. Usually I would give you the sales tax revenue. You may have gotten the same notification that they are making some changes to that report, so we're not gonna have it for December. Secondly, for the demo, fire department demolition, grant that we have, you've already signed resolutions that you said that it was blight that need to take care of. For the EPA, they just needed another for the school and the 2 properties there that say that they are conforming to the process with the abatement. It's not a resolution, but it's just a form letter to send, so when you send everything out, fine. And lastly, the 2 lease agreements that I sent out Friday, one is for bridges and one is for the BMB. If you had a chance to review them, if you wanted to change the amount that you wanted to charge or stay the same, those are ready to go to you to approve.
Just on that, we're charging about $1 a square foot,
Which one?
both of them. I mean, that's the way I see it, unless you tell me wrong.
No, in community action bridges, you know, that dollar amount hasn't changed, for quite a while. Now, with that said, they did have that great big office space that, you know, we moved them from into the smaller office space, and then
But it's
public health started to rent the larger space, so. You know, whether or not you want to increase that rent or not, you know, they do provide public service. Was kind of the reason why that dollar figure is fairly low. And I think the same thing can be said about the B and B.
Well,
But
I know that,
things have went up, that's for sure.
well, I don't know, a few years ago, we were debating, I don't know if it was TSC or, drainage company.
ADS?
ADS. And we were arguing over pennies and it was like $12 a square foot.
Oh, yeah.
Why are our properties so devalued?
Because these two are
I know.
public services. Yeah.
They both got a bump in what they pay because how in the past they weren't paying the correct CAM. So we corrected their leases, so they're paying their fair share of the CAM. With BMV, same with her. And also that building was exempted from tax, but even though we're renting half, so that's been corrected too, so now she's paying her fair share of the insurance on that too, so it's got a bump in what they usually pay, if that matters.
But overall, you're right, the square footage, which is the, the typical number that we go off of, or everybody goes off of as far as leases go, is pretty low. It's dramatically low. I think ADS was like $12 a square foot.
That's what I'm saying.
But, that was a private company versus a public entity providing service.
Well, I'm not
To the
saying
community.
you charge $12.
Oh, I'm not, I'm just saying what the thought process was when we established that rent, and that was previous commissioners, their guidance on that, so.
Any thoughts?
Up to you. What's that?
We have until May, right?
So BMV needs, they have, because it's a franchise, so they need the agreement to send it to the franchise so they can renew her space, so she wanted that to get a big one to do that.
Yeah, she needs to get that back to the state before April 1st.
You should have a few weeks then.
Yeah, I'll take a call. I didn't take a look.
No, I'm asking to redo that, I don't have a resolution.
Right. Yeah. Can we look and see what the going rate in the county?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to, I don't wanna raise it, just to raise it. I don't wanna do that. And I understand the purpose of those two, but anyway.
We can definitely provide those numbers.
Well, and the BMZ did get a 3% increase because of that whole contract until May, so she did go up a little bit. That's what the
Yeah, it was like 5 years.
Yeah, so we'll get those numbers if you guys want to take a look at it in more detail, and then we can have something definitive.
Yeah.
Next week or the week after, which should meet their time frame as far as the B&B goes.
Let's do that then.
First, I have the two resolutions that were tabled last week. The first is a resolution approving the 2025 travel request for the Madison County Department of Job and Family Services.
So moved?
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakers?
Yes.
Mr. Ross?
Yes.
A resolution approving 2025 travel request for the Madison County Department of Family and Children.
Move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakers? Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the payment of invoices for the Madison County Auditor.
So moved?
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakers?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution accepting the bid of Douglas E. Crab for the cost and delivery of services for process serving in Madison County, adjacent counties, and statewide.
So moved.
Second.
For first and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakers?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution accepting the Madison County Engineer's recommendation for the 2025 bids for asphalt materials.
So moved?
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakers?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the intergovernmental real property tax abatement agreement between the Madison County Board of County Commissioners and the Jefferson Township Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Second.
A first and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving an increase in appropriations to the juvenile special project expense line in the amount of $5,000.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving the receipt of revenue and increasing appropriations to the primary election grant expense line for expenditures associated with the May 6, 2025 primary election.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution approving an increase in appropriations to the water treatment plant and well-fueled other expense line and authorizing the transfer of funds to the general fund.
Was this something that was, hanging there? Yeah, that's what I thought. So moved.
Second.
A first and a second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
A resolution supporting State Issue 2, a renewal of the State Capital Improvement Program on the May 6th, 2025 statewide ballot.
Just a question on this. Where did the language, where did the resolution come from? Was it from a state agency or organization requesting it or?
That was good.
Got it.
That
It's-
we received an email. But I had to pull it up, to see who it was from.
I believe it was CCAO originated and then
I have some comments,
Yeah, so, yeah, actually, you would be the best to speak to it.
okay. So state issue 2, it's a bond renewal, for infrastructure here in the state. It's in its 40th year of existence. That's known as OPWC funding. Every year it brings in the somewhere between 700,000 and 1.5 million directly to Madison County, and has just been it's become a program that we really rely on for road and bridge and water and sewer projects in the county. We have a local county subcommittee that administers that process here in the county with allocation of priority points and working through decision-making on projects that are successful. At the engineer's office, we use it primarily for paving and bridge projects. Most recently on Senior Road, bridge rehab and repaving. It's how we're paying it hard for Big Pine Circleville. Danville Road was done utilizing it. So it is a bond issue. Does not increase taxes on anyone. I just want to reiterate that it's been a very successful program for us statewide and encourage your support. Because it is an amendment to the Constitution, it does require voter approval. If we can get it passed on the May ballot, then we won't see any lapse in that funding this year. Those agreements normally go out in July. So if we don't get it passed this time around, it'll go on the general election and we'll likely see a lapse in a year of coverage there. So it has passed successfully 4 times around, and I anticipate it will again, but.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks for that background.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Initially it came from CCAO as a legislative update from Nick there. I'm not sure exactly what this type is there. That's where the request initiated.
I will move to approve.
Second.
The first and the second, any other discussion? None heard, roll call please.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Dr. Sneakus?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes.
Concludes my business. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Have 2 minutes and then we will do the bid opening for stone and aggregate at 9:30.
I don't know if you received this, and I don't know if I forwarded it on to you, but I think I did yesterday. I got another reminder, but it was, survey through CCAO and supporting the Higher Prosecutors Attorneys Association's request for additional state funding for war victim services.
Oh, the VOCA.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't recall.
Marshall's law.
Yeah, I don't recall if you forwarded it, but I did receive that same email, I
Okay.
think from OPAA, actually, or could be CCA.
That they just,
So they requesting support from the commissioners, is that?
it's just a blanket email, and sent out to all counties, just as a reminder to do this, take the survey.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I received it because I've asked, victim witness advocates department in my office to fill it out. So, yeah.
So.
And we do rely on funding. We have an employee that's,
Yeah.
salary is covered by this grant.
Yeah.
Even like.
Definitely not gonna get the survey.
That one.
3-question survey, must
Is that
either be some
Yeah,
large questions or really easy survey.
well, I mean, and without having the, victim shelter here, we also use those funds to, like, housing and clothing and food for victims. It's very useful.
It is now 9:30. This is the time set aside for the bid opening for stone and aggregate. Turn it over to our county engineer.
Thank you. Looks like we have 6 bids in hand. This would be for supplying stone and gravel materials for the engineer for 2025. First one is from the Olin Corporation. For the sake of time, I won't go through the entire list of pricing, but we'll just go through a couple of key stone sizes. Number 57 stone, 23.25 per ton. Number 304, 16.90 per ton. Type C riprap, $47 per ton.
That's just the price for the stone, no trucking.
It's just to pick it up at the plant. Second bid from the Melvin Stone Company. Yeah, Olin had no bid on number 8 stone. Number 57, 19.50 per ton. Number 8 modified, $20.15. Number 304, 15.15. Type C riprap, 26.85. Let's go. Next bid is from Duff Quarry in Huntsville, Ohio. Number 57, 18.50. Number 8 modified, $26. Number 304, 17.50. Type C riprap, 30.75. Feels like the old days, slicing up any benefits. Next bid is from Shelley Materials. The Ostrander plant, number 57, 2550, number 8 modified, 3450, number 304, 1625, type C riprap, $46. West Mansfield, number 57, 2250, number 8 modified, 3270, number 304, $14. Mechanicsburg, number 57, gravel, $21. Next one's for Martin Marietta. They have a plant in Cedarville. Number 57, 2755, number 8 modified, 3115, number 304, 1925, type C riprap, $32. Last bid is for 11. Number 57, stone, 3285, number 8 modified, 3395, number 304, 2570, type D riprap, 3855. Also bid a couple of other products. Recycled twos with dust, $16. Clean recycled twos, $16. Recycled 3 and 4, $16. That concludes opening of those bids. We will review them and make a recommendation for your next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Susan, you're up next.
I don't even wanna follow that, cause I didn't understand
Yeah.
80% of what he just said.
Yeah.
37, 52, something. Yeah, I'm assuming it's just. All right, you know, I'll have to move. I can just sit back here.
That's fine.
Eric, as you guys are aware, March is DD Awareness Month. And, I've had some kids and a couple adults scheduled to join us today, but everyone is sick. And I didn't want to bring them with us, so, I opted to. And, but we do have the proclamation, and I believe they read it and go from there. Take up very much of your time.
Whereas individuals with developmental disabilities, their families, friends, neighbors, and coworkers encourage everyone to focus on the abilities of all people. And whereas the most effective way to increase this awareness is through everyone's active participation in community activities and the openness to learn and acknowledge each individual's contribution. And whereas opportunities for citizens with developmental disabilities to function as independently and productively as possible must be fostered in our community. And whereas we encourage all citizens to support opportunities for individuals with developmental disabilities in our community that include full access to education, housing, employment, and recreational activities. And now, therefore, we, the Madison County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim March 2025 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month and recognize that our communities are stronger when everyone participates. Take time to get to know someone with a disability and recognize driving toward access.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other discussion? None heard. Roll call, please.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Dr. Sneakers?
Yes.
Mr. Wallace?
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You want a picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brought mine. I thought I'd just stand behind you guys, is that?
Oh, sure.
I would.
Brought the official flag for.
That's right, that's right. How are you? Good to see you. Did I scare you?
Yes.
First time I'm scared, Jim, sure. How are you, Mr. Shea? Good to see you. Haven't seen you in forever.
It's Thursday.
David,
It's Thursday. Yeah.
I'll send behind her.
Okay.
Up.
Or stand up or you stay right here.
Quick little miss.
Yeah.
Not sure what's happening behind me.
Of that. Perfect.
I don't trust Johnny behind me.
I can do it like Donald Trump does.
Okay. Here we
Big,
go.
it's beautiful. I think you're really gonna like it.
One more, so make sure everybody's eyes are open. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Mr. Gates. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Jeff.
Jeff, and then.
Can you send that to me? Can you send me a picture? Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sure breaking the hip.
Not near as much as I don't want to.
Thank you. Take care. We're a little early for open session, but we'll go ahead and get started with any comments, concerns from the public, the audience.
Got nothing this week.
You got nothing? Wow. You know,
Doing that same way, folks.
good.
I chime in?
You get, yes, go after.
This, I would like you to get to the news to look at. This is my property. We're in the garage shop. There are 3 different property lines there. I have been taxed since God knows how long. I've had this property for 2.18 acres. I just paid $2,200 to have my land resurveyed. And I only have 1.93 acres, which is no biggie if you really, but the thing is this. My neighbors have built a barn on said property that I've been taxed for. And I've been taxed for that barn for we don't know how long because there is no building permit. So, there you go.
I think that's a Nick question.
The entire barn is on your property?
Oh, no, they're telling me it's not my property, but I've been taxed for this property since I bought this property. And now they're saying it's not my property, but I've still been taxed, and I've been taxed for this barn that Barker's built, that's not mine. And there's no building permit to say how long I've been taxed. They never got a building permit. Can't find nothing. Nothing, no building permit. They've got maybe 5 buildings over there on their property.
When was that barn built?
Have no clue. There's no building permit, but if we do know it's between 2007 and 2010. And now the county's saying, once I got this survey, once I take it, get all the paper, it's cost me $2,200. Now I have to go pay $40 to have the fee claimed back to me, take it to the map, then they will resurface it, then they'll take the barn off my taxes. So I'm the loss. How many years? And I was told by an attorney that it is up to the commissioners, once that, this would have never come to my attention had I not appealed my property taxes in June. And they went up. And there it is, almost, and I told Jennifer, I said, that's not mine, that's not my barn. What's on your property? I'm like, I don't think so. Well, no, it's not, and I've been taxed.
And what did your attorney recommend as far as the commissioners? go?
Well, because Madison County, because I'm in Madison County and I can't sue Madison County, I have to take it through Ohio Claims and Office to sue. to get my money back. I don't wanna do that. I want y'all to be fair. I deserve to have my tax paid back to me from as long as I can. And I was told by the attorney that once it is brought out that it's not my property, it is up to the commissioners to make sure that this land is re-surveyed. I shouldn't have to pay out that $2,200. When I told them when I was in that meeting, it wasn't mine, that's when they should have picked up on it and had it surveyed.
The meeting with the auditor,
I had a meeting with Jennifer. Billy was there, and another lady was there. One of you guys was supposed to be there, and Dale.
Order revisions.
yeah, I was the one on board of revisions and that, I think that meeting I missed because there was private things that I could not be there. Yeah, so let me ask you a question. How long have you lived on this property?
I've lived on this property since 1983.
Okay, and you don't remember when the building was put up?
Because I didn't.
Was it there already when you moved there? Gotcha.
No, I was there before Barber's work.
Okay, so they put the building up after you were
Yes.
there?
Yeah.
Okay, so that,
They put up the God ugly fence, which is a barn siding, is what it is, it's a metal barn head siding.
yeah,
And they put it, and he's used it for everything. And right now, all it contains is rats and raccoons and any other kind of critter you can have back there. He's got trash stacked halfway up the back of it, which entices rats. And it's just ridiculous, and nobody's done nothing. Nothing.
well, you brought it here, so I guess we'll probably have to have our zoning, people look at it.
Yeah, and
I mean, this is the first we hear of it, so we really.
well, Mr. Shea, I've talked to Mr. Shea about it a couple times, so Mr. Shea has known about it.
Yeah, and where it last stood, good to see you, by the way, where it last stood was you had gotten the updated survey. And I
Yeah.
spoke with the auditor's office, and then you were going to go to the auditor's office.
And
And what did they say?
right now, they are all, see, I need all this tax pay, all these back taxes. She said, no, I have plenty.
So what did the auditor say when you provided the updated survey? Did they give you any?
Oh, they're still in, we're not sure where that 1.8 acres went. If you look at 1949 survey, there was 2 acres. And then at that time, Woods had it. At that time, what's his name? Anyway, somebody else bought it. It's on there who it was. He bought that other 1.8 acres and combined it with my acreage. And then somehow it just disappeared. Somehow it's gone. Okay, that's fine. You want to take it back, but don't tax me for it. Don't, I live on a limited income. I get $2,164 a month. And every time you guys raise my taxes, my house payment goes down. Now I'm paying almost $1,300 a month in house payments because my taxes keep going up. You figure it out.
What did the Board of Revisions tell you when you were there in June?
They denied me. They said, no, taxes stayed as they were. So,
My understanding is they didn't have the updated survey, so now you've had a survey.
the whole thing was I appealed the tax increase. Had I not done that, this would have never been brought to my attention. This would have never, ever come to light. Now I'm wondering, have Barkers also been taxed for the same property?
That we'll have to find out.
Yeah. I think the survey is the potential game changer. I mean, I would want to look into if it was incorrect and you paid for a survey. And now
Yeah.
that shows that it was not yours. What can be done going forward from there? And I don't know if you have any further comments on that now, or if that's.
What, just for clarity purposes, I'm trying to catch up here and understand
Yeah.
the facts. Are you indicating that you've been taxed on the improvements since the barn was built?
What?
Is that what you're,
I think they're saying that the barn was built on your property and you were taxed for the barn, even though it's not yours.
Okay. You look at that, the barn, the property's not mine.
I understand what you're saying, but are you telling us that you've been taxed for the improvement, for the building of the barn?
Yeah,
And have you been taxed since it was built in
Yes.
2007 to 10?
Yes.
So this has been going on for over
Well,
15 years. And
Because there's no building permit.
I understand that, but somewhere between 2007 and 10, let's just take 10, most recent. You're telling us that you've been taxed for 15 years
Yes.
on the approved.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to clarify.
Is this the barn you're referring to here?
Yes. That's it.
My recommendation would be to sit down with the auditor's office and gather more details and see what needs to be done.
Have you given the auditor the new survey?
I have, and are you Mr. Jones?
No, Atkins.
Okay, well, they were supposed to send, the survey company was supposed to send, because they had to, the original survey was $1,900, but I had to pay an extra $300 to get the legal description. So, yeah,
That was probably a title search then. Was that,
no, it was just their legal description of point A, point B, northwest.
Yeah, it's in routes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to pay the extra $300 for that, and they were supposed to email that to Mr. Jones out there for mapping. So, yeah,
And just a clarification, we don't like paying taxes either, you know that,
I don't know, I'll be honest with you.
yeah.
I think,
We're not the ones that set the
I know
taxes.
you're not
Okay.
sure, and appreciate that, but I'm saying there's more to just taxes to live.
I get it.
And my opinion, I think anybody who's retired shouldn't have to pay school taxes, shouldn't have to pay none of the taxes. We paid our dues. We're done. We retired for a reason. And for this rate, I could have my house paid off, but I'm still not gonna own it. Because county's gonna own it. Simple as that.
County doesn't want your house,
Oh, they're
but the
good.
county will work to figure out what's right for you right now.
Appreciate that very much. And I would, if you don't mind, Amy, I would like a copy of the minutes of this. My time. Thank you, dear, and you're welcome to have those, because I have copies.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm somewhat confused.
My old wheelhouse, so I'm geeking out over here a little bit. So,
Why would she be taxed for a barn that's clearly not on her property?
That's what they reserved at survey. They initially.
So even on there,
Yeah, as I say,
even on there,
Well-
it's showing it's not on her property.
Right, right. Unless this parcel there has been corrected within a survey.
That might be it.
Which is their property and which isn't?
Yes.
Right.
This is her property,
no.
No, it's right.
It's fine, Mr. Property.
but so is the house in front.
Yeah,
What's this?
That's the same parcel. This is her.
Yes,
this is
yes.
her-
Right, yeah.
She's saying she's being taxed for this, which is not on her property, which is
Yeah.
clearly not on her property. So that doesn't make any sense if she's being taxed for this barn here.
I mean, it's an error at the auditor's office, and it's how do you
But they
rectify it?
listed as 2.18 acres. So that must include like an additional wedge here.
Yeah.
That would include this barn, so yeah, I mean, they must have it listed as 2.1, and they must, 2.18, I think there's a little wedge here as well, and it's really a straight line here, that doesn't include the barn.
But it's been corrected, so this, I think that's the proper, they were including it, I think what she's saying is that they previously, but they corrected it,
So the auditor's office is already corrected.
that's my guess.
That white line, is
I don't
that
think
where
so.
she's,
I
like her
don't, I think
property
she
line is
just needs to be
past?
activated.
No,
That's what I
With the
thought.
survey?
I don't
But
know,
it's
but
saying
Billy
19
came down
points
to
behind.
town, talked to me about it yesterday, so in my mind, I assumed that she just came from there, but I could be wrong.
yeah, I wouldn't think that the auditor this is an updated, but I would think that,
Well, the survey would go to tax map. Tax map would look at it and say, okay, the GIS parcel layer is wrong. We're gonna use this new survey to update the parcel layer. And if that's what they've done in the last few days or weeks or whatever it was, what you're seeing now is the corrected version of the parcel layer. Where before, if that line moved to
There
the,
should be record of that.
that, right,
Well, I'm not sure they can update it until it's deeded,
what's that?
until it's deeded.
Till it's
The
dated.
new survey has to be.
Has to be deeded or recorded? Okay.
Yeah, the deed would have to be recorded.
What's that
A
other,
new deed with the new legal would have to be recorded.
what's that other building behind the house?
Hers, that's like a torn down barn, or like a barn, no.
They're not counting that as the barn by some chance, are they?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's still an error at the auditor's office level where she's been taxed for property that she doesn't own for how many years, we don't know. What can be done is we have orthos aerial photographs that go back into the nineties. So if it was built, after 19, I mean, we have aerials back from, in the seventies. So
And that's done every 3 years, right?
the aerials, they were sporadic up until 2000, and then it started on about every 2 to 3 year reflight. When digital orthophotography became a thing and I could fly the whole county for 50 grand, I started doing it like every 2 years. But then the auditor's office took over.
It's almost like she's saying that this isn't part of her property, but we look at that survey. It's almost like she's saying that wedge is such.
Well, from experience, you can see
Zoom out a little bit.
that when they drew in the parcel layer, the actual evidence of the property line, those do not line up. Now, if that fence was purposefully built that far from the property line, or is the actual property line there where that fence is at? Keep in mind, the GIS is a reasonable facsimile of the survey.
Just thinking that old barn is the one that they're taxing. I don't.
Because that's what she's trying to remove. It's almost like she's trying to remove this wedge and say this wedge is not my property. I think that's her.
It's a junk
That is
barn.
what she's trying to say. It's not this.
It's not.
She's trying to say this is not mine, when it is her personal.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's what she's trying. to
That's what I see. But I don't know.
She's trying to say that.
That's what I got.
Yeah, she's trying to say this wedge here is not part of my property.
But so this is, you have is that included for survey?
Yeah, well, look at it, because you see the dashed line there with the little triangle.
It includes it.
Exactly.
I don't know.
How do you know she's trying to
That
include
one,
that?
that's-
We don't, we didn't ask her.
That was my thought, right?
No, Chris said he thought that she was trying to exclude
He
that.
did say that it was dilapidated and full of rats and.
Yeah, I
But
think,
both of them look that way to me.
yeah, it's not, she's trying to say this is.
But she's got a survey showing it in there.
I found it.
So maybe it is the.
It could be, but it's
Well,
not.
it's the proof of ownership.
That's not the survey. Or this is, that clearly is not hers, and that's,
Well,
not-
yeah, that's
that's
fine.
not being shown hers on any survey.
No, that's part of hers.
Yeah,
But the question is that triangle, who owns that triangle?
correct.
And
That's
that's
what,
like-
this question, it says triangle.
What is the parcel acreage, including the triangle?
2.175.
She said, and she said hers is 1.97.
2.193.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 1.9 without the wedge.
But she said, yeah.
I think that wedge is hers. I think she owns that wedge.
Well, either way, this is, for the auditor to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, but this survey, basically, yeah, she's basically saying, like, I don't want that wedge, because she's trying to take that wedge out. That's basically what she's saying. She's saying I have closer to 2 once you take that wedge out.
Which one's the new one? This one or that? The same, right?
I can't get 2 acres.
This is Karen. Oh, what's her? It's no good.
I've got to bring up a whole new topic too now, if it is hers.
But I just wonder if the acreage is incorrect in the property record card.
What dates?
You know what I mean?
11/12.
Oh, that's an old one. Since that's
25.
Yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah, that's a brand new.
Yeah, which that is not in here. That old barn's not in here. This is the barn on Barker's side.
So
But what's this?
what they're saying, oh, I see what's going on here. So that's the same property, that's the same parcel number,
Yeah.
and she's saying she doesn't own this triangle, right, which is. Because the property record card is showing 2.1 acres. 2.1.
Somebody might have said that 15.
But the survey shows it.
And the surface shows it.
Well, the survey says,
You got that line in there.
And so does the old survey.
what's the truck?
What I said, they're.
Well, I know, I just said all of this like 10 minutes. But I'm glad everybody else has now have the light bulb moment. Good.
The light.
We're on this, we're on the same page now. Thank you.
Oh, I see, look,
The light bulb moment or not.
the survey shows that building. That's that building, that's that little tiny shed thing or whatever.
They gotta look at it.
The minutes will reflect that Chris said that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's certainly. Yeah, cause that building right there, would have been shown on her property.
This is scary, this is how we get the decisions.
Now that's showing that's right on her line, so that would be that thing,
We'll do that.
which is, that's all her property,
Yeah, so that's her property.
which is 2.193. What did I?
Yes.
That's 2.193, so I don't know what you're saying, not her property.
Well, I think she's thinking that she's getting taxed on the other building,
And she's not.
but it's not. It's the old crappy building,
Yeah.
which is on her property. Which she shouldn't be taxed on that because that's a piece of crap, it looks like.
That'll be our official statement.
We've already, last year they did deny.
Another areas,
So I understand that, but she needs to take pictures in of
a
the,
little paper.
of the building.
Right.
To show that it
Saying
doesn't
it's
have
not
the
in
value.
use, it's-
Oh, for the orthos?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't gonna go off.
I am.
It was like 298, so.
So you got 2.10, so there. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything really too correct.
Well, the lady needs.
So it was built after 1998.
That's all. If that's what it is.
It was built after 1998.
She said 7 to 10.
Yeah, 7 So yeah, what's the building she's probably was built in 7?
The other one.
The one that's not on her property.
Right.
Still not there. No, what, so yeah, so there, what she's saying, go to the next one. It's still not there.
There it is. I'm saying the other one, the one on the right.
Here.
Yeah, that's not there.
You go to. Listen, unbelievable, I know, that's a concept error, I don't know.
2021, it's there.
So, well, so 12 or 16, right?
That's what-
12. Still not there. Still not there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, she's probably, what, this was.
It's probably
21, trees, 21.
Is that full? Is
It's just like-
So 21 is gonna shut up. And now it's done, yeah, I mean, that might be a pool, so that might be not what she's talking about, that's a pool. That's a deck and a pool. It's not a crappy building, it's a deck and a pool,
Okay, so now it's a crappy building.
Yeah,
so that's not what she's talking about.
But she would have got taxed on that. On the crappy pool. I mean, the pool itself, right? Because it's an addition, it's an improvement, and she would have got taxed on it.
Or is it?
None of it's a.
So when did this show up then? That's 12, keep going. Yeah, well, that was back in,
That's the barn she pointed out.
there, yeah.
Between 2010 and 2012.
That is the building she's talking about, it's not on her property, but she might ask for, but she, yeah, well, right, but it's not, unless this is redrawn.
look on the
Find the
improvements.
description of the property is written.
Oh,
Yeah, look on,
There's a pool, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, as far as the property record card back then?
yeah,
No, today.
yeah, look
On this property?
Find it,
Yeah,
yeah,
look at the
find it.
property card to see if the improvements are there.
That's what I'm
On that
at.
204, yeah.
it's strong.
They're on a personal version.
Mhm.
Zoom out a little bit, for sure.
Right there.
Nice pool.
See, did that survey show the acreage of 2.18?
Yeah, well, basically this is at 2.193, so it actually shows slightly more.
With the little triangle, did they give acreage?
Yeah, the little triangle, so 0.18.
Yeah. Because they combined those two parcels. We got the same parcel number.
Dwelling, hold on here.
So it's gonna have the house, it's gonna have everything.
Yeah, it doesn't have any addition. Wood deck. That's the house itself.
Yeah.
Or is it? Cause it's same parcel number.
Shed. 83 next.
Not get charged.
Nothing past the 83.
So where's the cost of the building on there that she's?
It's not.
I'll say it.
It's not. She says the neighbors put the building up, right? So
But it's not. What? Shut up, she's claiming she.
Yeah.
You know, we
It's
could,
not there.
we could just make a phone call right now and get, one of the ladies from the auditor's office.
Billy's the one to.
Billy?
Yeah.
That would be easier.
Say it'd be there.
There's a confusion.
I don't know if you guys have a dog in this fight right now.
We don't, but there's a confusion. She came to ask for help.
Yeah,
and we
this is,
wanna help.
yeah, this is an auditor's
Yeah.
tax map issue, engineer issue.
But now we got my curiosity.
Doesn't take much.
Very little. Very little.
Like how you guys care. Yeah, trying to figure it out.
Well, yeah, she has a concern. I don't want to pay taxes either, you know, we pay because we have to.
I
But
thought we took all your property off when we became commissioner.
good.
Break
the rules. I don't even know that now.
It's all recorded now.
Way to go.
He did, Billy did say today that you're only allowed to go back 5 years. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, as of right now, I don't think there's anything too correct. I mean, maybe she thought that way wasn't for hers, might be it's been her little bit hard, but I told her to be a non-professional.
Hey, can you clarify something?
Get your
Otherwise, what questions do y'all have?
yes, Darby's.
Property here, I think you had something,
Right, so we have a survey from 1949.
and there's a new one.
There is a new one. There is a new one. Okay, let's go to the 49 real quick though. In 1949, it was a 2-acre tract in this old survey. And then somewhere along the lines, I think the following year, that the people that acquired this property had a 0.18 get added on. So it became a 2.18. Then, and this is the thing, surveys, as if Rob lives next to me, he has his land resurveyed, it may change my line. So surveys and land lines are a ebb and flow and up and down. So what happened was she had filed a BLR. And one of the things she noticed in this was, hey, y'all are charging me for the shed. Now,
Which shed is she talking about?
it was this one, but this is before the
Okay.
line was redrawn,
So when was the line redrawn?
maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying.
Oh, so it wasn't.
This hasn't even come into record because when she paid $1,900 for this, she really, in my mind, got taken because they gave her the map, but they didn't give her the meets and bounds description.
That seems to be standard practice.
I don't see
That's it,
So,
an additional 300.
this isn't it.
That's not it.
This isn't it. This is the old survey from 2000, this was something that was recorded in 2002. I don't have a new meets and bounds. When you get a new meets and bounds description, it has to be accompanied by an instrument, like a quitclaim deed from her to her. So I helped her without helping her because I'm not a lawyer. And it's not, I don't always practice the law. You like how I'm throwing that in there? So I helped her the best I could to say, this is how you would draw up a quitclaim deed. Don't spend the extra money. You've already incurred all this money. The problem is, I have absolutely no problem reissuing or issuing a refund for however long we charged her for this shed that Barker built. And it's been a long-going dispute between them. No problem at all. Still have to do that. The problem then becomes, in her mind, you, Madison County, which is really the auditor's office, which I tried to explain, this was kind of not gonna help, but you've charged me for 2.18, and now, well, this is her new survey, so it actually has more acres.
Yes, she has over two, we actually
Yeah.
have 2.1.
So she feels that she's been mischarged on the land because in times from 1949 to 2023, it's went from a 2.0 to a 2.18 to less than that. She's had a survey done by Cottrell sometime in the middle of this, a few years ago, that no one has a recorded record of. So her land line has changed. She feels she incurred this erroneously because once Paul had simply redigitized that line, it took it out. So when she was at her VOR, this line was over here. So all that the board had to look at was, well, there's the line, there's the shed, it's yours. So then she was ready to just burn it down because it was on her land. Because again, ongoing dispute. So I cannot do anything until I'm instructed that I can do something. So the easiest thing I could do right now is say, okay, we've charged you for this shed for 5 years. I can refund you 5 years. If it was 10 years, I can only refund 5. That's Ohio Revised Code. So that upsets her, which I get. I'll have to do the research on how many years it's been. As for the actual land and the change in the land, there's nothing I can do about that. There's surveys that were on record and that's all the thing we had. So she wanted to talk to you guys and I said, knock yourself out. And we've got a great relationship, Karen and I. We do. But there's very little I can do. This can't even become a matter of record until she gets it through with a quitclaim with that additional meets and bounds description. But this isn't taking away land. This is literally adding on a 0.01 something onto it.
So her survey doesn't have meets and bounds, so it can't be co-goed into the parcel there.
Right, that Madison said that it won't do it without having that meets and bounds description. And a quitclaim deed would have to come in, again, that's easy, that's the smallest part of it. But the fact that they were making her pay $300 more seemed pretty dirty, but.
So the map used to show it basically as this.
Yes.
Like a wedge here, like an
Yes.
wedge there.
And then, and I don't know in all of this, because again, I don't do surveys. I do the valuation part of it. I don't know, should that have been the first option? Probably, but I didn't know that the line was drawn incorrectly.
So you see here, this is the old survey.
Right,
2.175, this is more.
right. But,
Somebody knew that the line was there.
huh?
Somebody knew the line was there.
Yeah.
Different
That's why the
surveys-
building got built.
different surveyors have done things different. These surveys she probably has 3 different descriptions of her properties, but again, all based off of other probably surveys at the time or other markers at the time. I don't do surveys, so I don't know.
So the old parcel probably looks something like what I just had.
Probably, yes. And I may have an image of it. I don't know. I may have something in her VOR folder, but you know, it's a several old thing. She feels she got this and she shouldn't have had to get that. And I can't say that's incorrect. Really, because had that line got redrawn, and I don't know, again, if that falls on us, if it falls on the map room, had that line got redrawn, that would have clearly shown that other line, the blue line where it is now, would have shown it wasn't on our property. I could have taken the shed off.
But when you went back, Rob, a few years, this is a new redrawing, right?
This is,
Okay, so go back to, let's say 2016.
right, this is the redrawn one, right?
Yeah, keep going, that one, press that one. See, that's still not there. Does it change all the ones from the past?
I don't know the answer to that.
You know what I'm saying? Because the ones from the past are the same.
Yeah.
Look,
What do you expect them to change?
well, if in fact the survey, you know what I'm saying? How come that line is staying standard
Right.
rather than?
Yeah,
When did it include?
I'm gonna assume it's the current
Well,
survey line
Yeah, that's
and
just
the old area.
That doesn't change.
Yeah.
Didn't change the line.
Yeah, the aerial.
So these are actual layers on top of each other.
But you see what I'm trying to find out? Before this new,
Line.
yeah, what was it before?
So, yeah,
You have to go back to the old parcel layer and pull that in.
you can't use this map.
Yeah, Paul may be able to assist on that.
That's what I'm asking. That's what we need to see.
Yeah, Paul may, no, Paul's more of a survey person than I
So
am.
when you find that out, that it did include the barn, credit her the amount, and then you would have to charge her for the difference? Oh, that'd be funny.
I would have to charge Barkers for the difference, and I have no problem doing that. I will say that throughout the years, that has kind of been a practice that when Jim was here, if I had to get $50 out of you to pay $50 back, that's the way it worked.
Yeah.
I will say over the years, that's become a little more flexed with, even with Jim when he was here. But in this case, I would definitely, whatever she's refunded,
Because,
tell Barkers they owe.
because her concern was that she's been paying property tax for him, for his car.
And she has
Exactly.
for at least 5 years, and I have no problem with
I
that.
understand.
But I don't know, when people are, what's the word, litigious? The word? I tend to, as soon as you start doing that, I'm like, okay, well.
Well, I think the only thing that we ask is that you look through it. This is all being recorded. She's gonna know everything that we
Right.
discussed.
Right,
And I think what we should do is you go back, see what you can do. And if she was charged for that, give her money back and charge the one that's due, what's due.
sure, on the
That's it.
building.
Yeah.
As for the changes on the land, I don't think I
get it.
can do anything with that, because we could only work with what we had at the time.
In the refund process,
The land really didn't change, but it's been 2.1.
He was just getting charged for the
One
building.
point 93.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
And, but I
that
think, I
polygon
think her
was
core,
larger than what the survey.
the reason she's so upset is because the $1,900 for this.
I get it.
Now, I don't know how we remedy that, I don't know, that's not for me to say.
Yeah, I'll stay in my lane too.
Right, I mean,
Well, that was her choice to get that survey, right?
yes, but I feel that that was probably encouraged, because if you come into my office and say, this line is not right, I'm gonna say it's the last line we have on record, and if you don't,
Have proof.
have proof, get a new survey, which I think is what Paul had encouraged her to do as well. But
Doesn't
again,
make the county responsible. That would make the county responsible for the.
Yeah.
That's the only way she can prove her case,
I mean,
but still her choice.
I'll do whatever I need to do, but right now, the only thing I can do is look at the building, and if the building was charged, refund the building. And again, I'm bound by a 5-year refund. If there's someone that tells me there's an ORC that I can get, if it was more than 5 years, and I can get that back, then I will get that back.
Did we determine when that building was built?
Clean.
She said in the 90s, I think, but we didn't.
I think we saw like.
I thought it was.
2010 to 2012.
I'm not sure we charged it back that far, and I say that because we only redo every 3 years
Between
on
seven.
our updates, especially if there wasn't a
Was the
permit.
description for the building on your,
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's on there, it's being
so
charged.
you'll know how.
I will know when it went off, yes,
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure it's only been about 5 years. And then the next question is, well, did they get a permit for it? Again, I don't do the
Depends
permit.
if they need it, because it's ag, isn't it?
yeah, well, yeah.
Well, as far as the building permit and what it's taxed at, so I feel this number is gonna be
Minimal,
very small.
right.
Like it's, the return on the investment of that survey is. I would
This-
take-
And I understand why she's upset about that, and I just don't know, are we obligated? I don't know. As soon as someone tells me, I'll do whatever I need to do. I can figure out the building, it's just the survey part that's got me very thrown off. Paul would tell you, if he was in here, that The 2.18 survey is the last survey that we had. And that's what we dealt with all those years. The fact that the line wasn't redigitized or whatever the term is, I don't do that. So there's more than,
Reference, it was still like 2.18.
yes, that's what she's been charged for
Yeah.
when I look back.
So you can't really change what she was charged for the land, because it's always been 2.18.
Right.
And it's saying it's 2.19, actually slightly larger, so the only thing you could do
It's for the building.
is the building.
Right,
It was built somewhere between 2007 and 2010.
right. So she had said yesterday that she had reached out to an attorney in Columbus, and I said, I understand, that's fine. And that's really where I left it. So, I mean, I've tried to be as,
I hope she doesn't go and spend more money on the attorneys.
well, and I don't know who the attorney is,
Well, really.
but that's really all I know, guys.
Would you like me?
Sure, I'll put it with her folder that I have.
Sure.
When I get what the deal is on the building, I'll let you guys know, but I did tell her I have other things ahead of this. And I guess I'm curious as to if there was legal action like. Where's Nick? Oh, here you go. Sorry. Like, if there's legal action, like, should I not go forth with my refund? I don't know how that works.
No, I would move.
Okay. That's all I got.
Very good, thank you, appreciate that.
No problem. No problem.
All right, any other business? Going once, going twice, meeting adjourned.
Reasonable facsimile of the survey. That is the key word when it comes to the parcel layer in GIS.
Well, I mean,
So I did the cadastral conversion, so that could be a mistake that I did 20 years ago.
It
But
probably is.
it's probably based